Call to order the November 25th meeting of the State Allocation Board. Ms. Jones, if you could call the roll.
Yes, thank you. Senator Hancock, Senator Liu, Senator Fuller, Assemblymember Buchanan,
Here.
Assemblymember Hagman,
Here.
Assemblymember Nazarian,
Present.
Esteban Almanza,
Here.
Jeannie Oropesa,
Here.
Cesar Diaz,
Here.
and Irena Ortega.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for coming to this meeting that we've kind of scheduled short notice. The minutes, I think, are the first item. Lisa, I don't think we have any edits or changes to the minutes. We have a motion from Ms. Buchanan. Second. And a second. All in favor? Aye. Minutes are adopted. And item number 3 is the executive officer statement.
We have a few items to share today, this morning. And first is the update on the priority funding apportionments. The board took action in August for $100.2 million. And we wanted just to give the board an update. There's only 2 projects that didn't come in. Everyone else access the cash. So the 2 projects will receive their first strike. And one of them is a facility hardship project. And so they'll still have a priority status, but again, it's important for them to provide certification during the open round. And another is a charter project. So again, we'll be working with all those folks that have an unfunded approval to submit a cert during the current round. The next item, again, is to mention that we have a priority certification round open currently. And again, those folks who have an unfunded approval and those who are receiving unfunded approvals today will be eligible to participate. The certification round closes December 11th, and they'll be valid for January 1st through June 30th, 2015. And we also wanted to highlight that we have a new website that we wanted to feature. We've been working closely with the Department of Education, Division State Architect, and our office to come up with one-stop web portal. And we also got some feedback from a good colleague here, Bill, Mr. Savage, and some other districts as far as how resourceful or useful the information is. So again, we just launched that just a few weeks ago. And the last item we wanted to update is the overcrowded relief grant program. In August, the board took action to leave that round open. And so consequently, we do have $20 million in project unfunded approvals being moved forward in the consent agenda. One of them is for Long Beach, and they'll have a full complement of their project. And the other project is Santa Ana, and which Santa Ana we're short about $1 million. So as we go through and find out whether or not we have additional proceeds coming back in the overcrowded relief grant program, they will be eligible to get a full complement as well in their project. So that's all I have to report.
Okay, any questions? Any public comment on any of those items? Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I'm going to propose that we add the items under tab 9, 10, and 11, which are the reports on the annual legislative update, the small high school program status report, and the surplus site sales proceeds report to the consent agenda if there isn't any objection. Okay. Moved by Mr. Diaz and seconded by Ms. Buchanan. Any public comment on any of the items on the consent calendar, including the tabs 9, 10, and 11? No public comment? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? None. Consent calendar is adopted. Item 5 is the status of fund release.
Yeah, on page 106, again, wanted to highlight, just for the month of October, we had released $9.9 million, but again, we had just an update for the last several weeks, just to relationship to the $100 million that we were apportioning in August. Again, a good portion of those proceeds will be reflected in the next month's update, so in January, excuse me. So about $90+ million has and will be activated in the next few weeks. Okay. And that's it as far as status of fund releases. As far as status of funds, and that's actually on tab page 110, there's a series of closeout activities and rescissions and savings being returned back to the program, and that's in your left-hand column. So $1.9 million has come back into the program collectively in new construction and career tech and modernization. And the complement of projects being presented for unfunded approvals, we have $19.5 million also being presented. And yeah, charters will be presented as well tonight. We had some conversions as well that we want to reflect, and a high performance incentive grant, also part of the agenda. And so, again, just to remind, we have about $32.2 million remaining in the high performance incentive grant program, along with a small fraction in career tech education. And those proceeds will be moved over effective January 1st as part of the budget. And the following page is 111. We wanted to highlight that there is a rescission of a few projects that district have requested to have their projects in the emergency repair program volunteer rescind, and those 4 projects will be reflected, and the $1 million will be awarded back in January. So again, I know we had took some action a few weeks ago to present emergency repair program projects, but some of them had a slight haircut, didn't have a full complement of funds, so we'll be awarding that $1 million+ to those projects. And that's it.
Any questions or comments from board members? Any public comment on either of those items? Okay, those are not action items, so we'll move to tab 7, charter preliminary portions.
Good morning, Michael Watanabe, OPSC. In November 2013, as a result of authority returning to the Charter School Facility Program, the board created a new filing round that began April 1st, 2014 and continued through May 30th, 2014. In total, the OPSC received 72 applications, of which 61 remained eligible for possible apportionments. At the March 2014 meeting, the board did take action to, out of the $100 million available in authority, the board set aside $7.6 million for projects that received approvals back in 2008, but we never gave them their 6% add-on for the new construction pupil grant adjustments. So we took 7.6 off the top. In addition, the board also took actions to reserve $5.3 million for the administration of the program. In total, that left $89.9 available for funding for this round. We did exceed authority of that 89. In total, those 62 applications requested approximately $650 million in bond authority from our program. Being oversubscribed, statute requires us to do an even distribution throughout the state. On stamp page 126, we outline how that scoring matrix kind of rolled out. And in total, we were able to fund the first 5 projects on that list. They're shown larger on page 124. Those 5 projects are shown for a total of $89.9 million. I want to point out that the last project, El Sol for Santa Ana Science Arts Academy, they actually eligible for $25 million, but we don't have enough to fully fund them. They accepted the partial preliminary apportionment at this time for $17 million. In March, the board did say that these applications received are valid for another 8 months after today's board meeting. So if any authority returns to the program during that 8 months, it would be available to make them whole. If we receive enough to make them whole, we will continue down that funding list. After the 8 months is over, any authority not used for the program will be available for future projects that are approved but want to convert higher. And that's available for any questions.
Go ahead. So you said prior to allocating new money, you make people whole that previously received an apportionment, is that correct?
We will make this project whole because they're part of the 2014 filing round, and then we'll keep going down that list on page 126 until the 8 month is expired. At that point, we send all the applications that were unfunded back to these charters.
So I think all of us have received, both through OPSC and individually, considerable information on the YPI charter school situation. So what I'd like to do is make a motion to accept the staff's recommendation, and also ask separately, not as part of the motion, that you work with YPI between now and the January board meeting to determine if there's some sort of resolution that you can work out to their situation so they're able to move forward with their construction. Because I'm not prepared to take money away from any of the schools to which we've allocated funds. I don't think that's the direction we want to go, but I do have some sympathy to a school that's in the middle of the project and seeing the costs go up some. So,
okay. Yeah. Okay. And we will take public comment on this item as well. At our briefing, I understood that you believe that there would be quite a bit of rescissions in this program. Can you talk to us about that?
Historically, about half the projects that receive preliminary apportionments have not moved forward with their projects. So if they don't move forward in their 4-year timeline, that authority would return to the program. Additionally, for the next 30 years, as school districts make the repayments back through the lease payments, we'll continue to get authority continuously.
And how much do you estimate that will be, roughly?
I don't think we can predict that now.
Yeah, we have several projects that are timelines to conversions in May and also October and November. The key issue with those timelines is they have an extension. They have the ability to extend the project for another year. We do know there's some projects that are moving through DSA right now currently. We did hear some feedback in March that was likely a project that won't move forward. So that's probably a big outcome there. So again, I think we'll keep the board updated as projects start to move forward and give them some more information as we proceed.
Right. And this round was created because of funds that returned back to the program. So I think there's a strong sense that history will show that funds will return back to the program. Right. Let's. Are there any other questions from the board members? If not, let's take public comment on this. I know I have at least one person, Mr. Duenas, who would like to speak on this item. And if there's anyone else, please come forward. Take anyone.
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Ruben Duenas. I'm the Chief Operations Officer for YPI Charter Schools. After listening to the conversation, and it's a holiday week, I don't want to take too much time. I just wanted to thank you for the consideration that you've given to our concerns and our project. And we look forward to, we'll continue to work with you and with the staff to try to find a solution for our project. I have a much longer conversation, but I think you've already addressed that, and I don't want to take any more time.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for your time, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Duenas. Any other public comment on this item? Okay. Any other questions on the? Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. So do we need to call the roll on this, or? I think we can just say all in favor. Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? None. Okay, passes unanimously. And item 8 is the Livermore Valley Joint Unified Alameda issue.
Good morning, Joel Ryan from OPSC. We're presenting the board with information that we received regarding 2 Livermore Valley School District projects. In March 2010, the Alameda County Superior Court found that the district's construction practices violated the competitive bidding requirements. The reason the board should know is that these projects received state funding. There were 2 high school projects which received approximately $5 million apiece from the state. The district did not agree with the court finding. The district worked with its legal counsel at the time and felt that everything that it did was proper. The district isn't going to appeal the ruling, but it will not do its construction in this way in the future. The reason that we're bringing it to you today is that we haven't seen this before. Our regulations don't really address what happens when there's a violation of California code that's not education code. So we're seeking board direction today and leaving it in your hands.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. So this item does not require action. Where the staff are seeking the board's direction. So what is the will of the board? Mr. Diaz?
Thank you, and I did read the item and was briefed on it yesterday by staff. I think members of the board understand how I feel a lot about labor compliance and the public contract code, but I think that being said, the court has ruled and the district has acknowledged that it must move forward with future projects with public contract code and compliance with that. So I think that my recommendation, of course, as a board would be for no further action and to basically approve them getting the funding.
Okay. Any other comments from the board? Any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Ryan. We will move to, we're down to item 12. This
its workload reports for the next 90 days, and that's about it.
Okay. And
Those reports get smaller and smaller.
When I looked at the funding, 100%, 97%. So, and that may impact the charter schools coming in because people are beginning to realize that it's now or never.
and item 13 is just a series of informational items, including the calendar for next year. That's it. Okay. Any other comments? Thank you, board members, for getting one more in before the meeting.
Everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Any other public comment on any items? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned.